Welcome to our deep dive. Today we'll be exploring Pinball Wizard that kind of takes us back to the 80s, a time of, Cold War tensions. A love story that feels kind of explosive. And we even get some run-ins with a literary icon.
A story packed with thought-provoking symbolism.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we're introduced to Ralph, this brilliant computer programmer.
Working at the top-secret High Frontier Consortium out in California.
Right, he's busy simulating nuclear strikes, bouncing data off satellites. A true Cold War tech whiz. But his personal life, well, it's messy, full of these chaotic relationships.
And he's wrestling with some big existential questions.
Totally. So do you think this contrast between his work life and personal life, is that intentional?
Absolutely. It's like he's caught between two worlds, right? The order and control of his work, and then the unpredictable nature of his relationships.
Yeah, makes sense. And that's where Chrissy comes in.
His free-spirited musician girlfriend.
Exactly. Their relationship is intense, a roller coaster of passion.
And some pretty fundamental differences between them.
Oh yeah, like that scene in the photo booth, remember?
The one where they're interrupted by that mother and son.
Yeah, adds a little humor to an otherwise intimate moment.
What are your thoughts on Chrissy? What does she represent in this story?
Well, Chrissy's impulsive, obsessed with celebrities, and she's always, playing her guitar, even in the middle of the English countryside. But she also believes in Ralph's healing touch. So there's this deeper connection there, almost mystical.
It's like she sees something in him that he doesn't even see in himself. A catalyst for self-discovery.
Pushing him toward a less conventional, more authentic life.
Yeah.
Definitely. But it's not just the relationship that's complex. The High Frontier Consortium itself is this fascinating world.
A microcosm of Cold War paranoia, for sure.
Right. You've got these eccentric characters like Dr. Holzendorf, the ash-covered engineer, with his smoky Oldsmobile 442.
Seems to symbolize the pollution of their work.
Yeah, good point. And then there's Charlie, Ralph's colleague. Brilliant physicist. But kind of contradictory, don't you think?
Totally. He protests nuclear weapons, but continues to work for the defense industry.
Exactly. Like he can't quite reconcile his morals with his curiosity. And his whole off-the-grid plan. Building a self-sufficient life out in the Coachella Valley.
It speaks to those counterculture movements of the time.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think Charlie represents a real alternative for Ralph? Or is he just, an interesting anomaly?
That's a great question. Charlie's lifestyle is tempting, especially for someone like Ralph who's questioning his work.
Right.
But Charlie's deeply conflicted, too. He sees the problems but isn't sure how to escape them.
True. So in the middle of all this tension, personal and global, Ralph gets assigned to Pinball Wizard, this super secret project.
Transmitting intelligence data from satellites straight to fighter jets. Real time.
Yeah, the stakes are high. What do you make of that name, Pinball Wizard?
It's a clever choice. Evokes this sense of skill, agility, a bit of luck, too.
Yeah.
Like a pinball player navigating a complex board.
Exactly. And that trip to England to test the system.
RAF Mildenhall.
Right. Becomes a real crucible for Ralph. Claustrophobia on that transatlantic flight, those cultural clashes, and then dealing with those program office guys.
Vernon and Cecil.
Oof, yeah. It's like the trip itself reflects the broader themes of the story.
Control versus chaos. The pressure of expectations. The potential for, both success and failure.
Yeah, like a pressure cooker. Then there's that scene in the underground bunker where he's frantically trying to debug the software with Vernon and Cecil breathing down his neck.
And the Colonel's expectations hanging over them.
Oh yeah, intense. And then that moment during the F-111 test flight.
When it almost crashes into the ocean.
Real heart-stopping stuff.
Yeah.
A stark reminder of the consequences.
Even the most brilliant minds can be caught off guard.
For sure. But in the middle of all this high-tech tension, we see Ralph escape to Tockwitz Canyon with Charlie. And it's more than just a scenic location.
Charlie describes it as a place with a resident evil spirit.
Yeah, a bit of a clash with Ralph's scientific worldview. But this is where Charlie's perspective on, consciousness and spirituality comes in.
He believes the canyon sharpens intuition, offers a different way of seeing reality.
Yeah, a clash between the rational scientific view and a more intuitive spiritual one.
A key theme throughout the story.
Definitely. So, do you think Ralph is open to this possibility? Or is he too stuck in his logical mindset?
That's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We see these hints of openness from him.
Like during their meditation session.
Right, where he experiences that visual phenomenon.
Something he can't explain. It's like he's getting a glimpse of another dimension.
A shift in perception.
Challenging everything he thought he knew. But just as he seems to be finding some peace, his personal life takes a nosedive.
His parents' marriage falls apart.
His mother disappears, leaving that cryptic note.
And that unsettling encounter with his father and the life-size doll.
It's like the foundation of his life is crumbling. It's like these women, Chrissy and his mother, they're both rebelling against expectations, searching for something more, even if it means risking everything.
And their actions are pulling Ralph into uncharted territory.
Leading him towards, well, chaos. Charles Bukowski, what a transition. From top-secret bunkers and fighter jets to Bukowski's world.
It's a wild juxtaposition.
Totally. But despite their differences, there's a connection between Ralph and Bukowski, wouldn't you say?
They both seem to be looking for authenticity, something more than just the surface.
Right. A deeper meaning. Do you think their meeting will have a lasting impact on Ralph?
That's a great question and something we should definitely unpack further.
Right.
For now, I think we should pause here.
Okay. So we've met Ralph, this brilliant but conflicted guy.
Torn between the order of his work and the chaos of his life.
And we've seen the symbolism of the pinball machine, right?
And Talquitz Canyon.
Hinting at the unpredictability of it all. And the possibility of different ways of seeing things. And then there are those other characters, Chrissy and Charlie.
Representing different paths, challenging Ralph's assumptions.
So stay tuned as we dive deeper into the twists and turns of Ralph's journey.
So we left Ralph, remember, grappling with these competing desires. A secure career versus this unpredictable allure of his relationship with Chrissy.
And it seems like the pressure just keeps building on him.
Oh, for sure. His father's really pushing for that traditional path. You know, ambition, achievement.
He even offers to pay for an MBA from USC. Like, that's the golden ticket in his eyes.
A guaranteed path to success, in his view anyway.
Right. But Ralph isn't buying it. It's like they have completely different worldviews.
Yeah, the story highlights that generational divide, right? Different definitions of success.
For sure. Ralph's dad values those external markers. You know, the 10-year plan, the milestones, the legacy.
But Ralph, I think maybe Charlie's lifestyle is influencing him, is looking for something deeper.
Yeah, maybe. Something more meaningful. Even if it means taking risks. Like that scene at Floor 50, remember? That upscale restaurant.
On top of the Bank of America Tower.
Yeah. Ralph's dad is laying out his vision for the family trust. Talk about legacy and all that. But Ralph compares him to Benjamin Disraeli.
Who famously said, action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action.
Right. It's like he's saying his dad's whole life is about external validation. And Ralph rejects that.
It's a powerful moment. He realizes his father's path won't lead him to fulfillment. And this realization sets the stage for that ultimatum from the NSA.
Dump Chrissy or lose your security clearance. Talk about a tough choice.
Conformity versus his heart.
And he chooses Chrissy.
Yeah.
What a bold move. Rejecting the safe, expected path.
It's like a statement, you know, about authenticity, following your own path.
Even if it means burning bridges. It reminds me of those other female characters, too. Chrissy and Ralph's mom.
Yeah, they both rebel against societal expectations, looking for something more.
Even if it hurts others. It's like they create this ripple effect, pulling Ralph along with them. And this current leads him straight to that New Year's Eve party at Bukowski's house.
What a scene.
Total chaos. Drinking, arguing, Bukowski ranting about his near-death experience, 1,000,000 miles away from the world of the High Frontier Consortium.
But there are these moments of genuine connection, too. Ralph and Bukowski talking about probability, horses, the meaning of life.
Right. That their different worlds don't matter. That desire for authenticity is universal.
Yeah. And who could forget that scene where Bukowski kicks over the coffee table?
Sends wine glasses flying everywhere. Classic Bukowski. Hates those social graces.
Living life on his own terms.
Totally. And then he kicks everyone out of the party.
Including Ralph and Chrissy.
Mm.
For not drinking enough.
Right. Rejecting conformity, the pressure to fit in. Yeah. And as Ralph is leaving, he runs into those young guys.
The ones who traveled from Munich just to meet Bukowski.
Crazy. Shows you the power of his influence. So Ralph drives away. Skyrockets. Gunshots. A new chapter beginning, full of uncertainty, but also a sense of possibility. And then Chrissy calls.
From the Chateau Marmont.
Yeah. Not happy with her meeting with the film director. Wants to come back. And what does Ralph say?
He says yes.
But it's more than just getting back together. It's like a proposal. for something new.
A journey of exploration, a chance to rewrite their story.
Escape the past, start fresh, a huge leap of faith. But will it bring them happiness?
To answer that, we need to look at the ending and what happens to those other key players.
So stay tuned. Our deep dive into Pinball Wizard continues. So Ralph and Chrissy are heading off into the unknown, making a choice that really echoes throughout the whole story.
Yeah, but even as they try to move on, the past keeps pulling them back. It's like the story is saying that choices have consequences, big and small. And we really see that in what happens to Ralph's parents.
Oh, for sure. That scene where Ralph's dad describes finding his wife's goodbye note. It's heartbreaking. You could feel his pain and confusion, and that detail about the life-size doll. Wow.
It's almost funny, but also so sad. A perfect blend of humor and pathos.
Yeah. It's like the author showing us how universal these themes are. Communication problems, unspoken expectations, how our past shapes our present.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting. Both Ralph's mom and Chrissy are kind of similar. They both want something more than what society expects, even if it means hurting others.
Right. They're both searching for something, but their choices definitely have an impact on others.
Do you think the story is implying that pursuing personal happiness always leads to hurting others?
It's a tough question. It definitely doesn't give us any easy answers. And then there's the death of Gordon McIntyre, the lawyer, remember?
The one Ralph's dad suspected was having an affair with his wife.
Yeah. It adds another layer of complexity, like some kind of cosmic joke.
Dying of a heart attack right after kissing Ralph's mom on New Year's Eve.
It highlights how unpredictable life is, how our actions can have unintended consequences.
No kidding. And even though that tragedy brings Ralph's parents back together, it's all tinged with loss and guilt.
It makes their reconciliation seem kind of fragile, doesn't it? Makes you wonder if they can truly heal after all that.
Yeah, exactly. And that theme of fragile connections searching for something more, it's all there in Ralph and Chrissy's story too. That final scene at the Chateau Marmont, Chrissy calls, disillusioned with her encounter with the French director.
And she wants to come back.
And Ralph doesn't hesitate. He says yes.
It's not just about getting back together, though, is it?
No, definitely not. It's more than that. It's like he's offering her something bigger, a chance to start over, to rewrite their story.
A new adventure, free from their past.
It's a hopeful ending, showing that love and second chances are powerful things, but we're left wondering, will they actually find what they're looking for? Will they be happy?
And that's the brilliance of Pinball Wizard, right? It doesn't give us the answers. It makes us think about the choices we make, the nature of relationships, that constant search for fulfillment.
Exactly. It's like a pinball machine.
Yeah.
You never know which way the ball will bounce. It keeps you guessing.
And that's what makes this deep dive so rewarding. We've unpacked the story's layers, the symbolism, the contrasting perspectives.
The chaos of Bukowski's world, the quiet wisdom of Charlie, and Ralph's journey as he navigates love, loss, and the search for meaning in a world that's always changing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we hope you'll revisit Pinball Wizard with fresh eyes.
What parts of the story stand out to you most? What questions does it raise for you about your own choices, about what happiness really means?
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Until next time.